Anthropic is so confident that you can't jailbreak its new constitutional classifier safety system that it's asking the community to give it their best go, with a little bit of controversy mixed in as well. If you live under a rock and haven't heard of jailbreaking LLMs, it's the act of deliberately manipulating large language models into producing some pretty bad stuff. So let's try it out. Anthropic have set up this new challenge site. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to get the model to answer 8 harmful questions using a universal jailbreak. I'll leave a link to this. It's worth noting, only try the jailbreaks here, otherwise your actual Claude account could be banned. It's really difficult, by the way. If I just go ahead and paste in question 1, I'm not going to show you any jailbreaks here, as unfortunately you're not allowed to publicly disclose these, so you really are on your own, but we can see the protections that it has. Now I'll go over how these work from that research paper at the end, but let's just see them in action. First, it has that input classifier that we just hit. This checks if the prompt I gave it is harmful, or if I'm trying to mislead it in any way that it doesn't understand. If you're able to get past that and actually get some output, you then also have the output classifier to deal with. This checks the output as it's streamed for any potential harmful content. If you finally get a complete output, you can click the check for harm button. This takes in your last output and then uses another model to determine whether you answered the question correctly and if it contains any harmful information. And if you get through that, you move on to question 2. So I've given this a go for a bit using some of the existing jailbreak methods and also modifying them a bit, and I cannot get through question 1. I feel like I've got a dangerous output a few times, but I cannot get that check for harm button to say that I have, so it must have some really strict criteria. Now, if you do think your response is dangerous, you can flag this to Anthropic, but it still won't let you progress to question 2. According to their data, only 43 people have passed question 1, 14 people have passed question 2, and only 5 people have passed question 3, nothing else. No one has completed question 4 yet. From all of the talk that I've seen online, these questions go on to ask you about recipes for something that you'd see in Breaking Bad. There was some info circulating online that a pretty infamous jailbreaker known as Pliny got through them all, but according to him, he only got to level 3, and then a bug in the UI actually let him skip the questions. Anthropic say they have fixed this bug, so it seems their system is really good and better than what they currently have. How does this work then? Well, it's their new constitutional classifier system. They released a detailed research paper, but let me try and break this down. The system is given a core constitution. This says what is and isn't allowed to be discussed when prompting with Claude. They then use Claude itself to generate prompts that would be acceptable and also unacceptable to create a synthetic dataset. It then takes this data, ensures it's translated into all kinds of languages, and they even have an automated red teaming tool that modifies all of these prompts in the style of existing jailbreaks. All of this is creating a massive dataset. For your input, they then use a wrapper prompt that surrounds your query, and it essentially tells the model what it should watch out for, including suggestions that you might be trying to obfuscate the information, for example, by pretending it's a cake recipe. If you get through that check, the output is then checked as it's streamed in. It looks for the likelihood that a sequence of tokens contains disallowed text. If it surpasses a specific threshold, your output gets stopped. Simple stuff, right? Well, it does have some negatives at the moment, and that is that it has significant computational overhead of 23.7%, and it does also result in 0.38% more false positives, although this is considered acceptable. Now, I have seen some controversy around this method of testing, particularly from members like Pliny, who argue that if we're giving them our time for free, they should be able to open source this prompt dataset at the end of the challenge. Others argue that Anthropic should be paying for this as part of a bug bounty program. They do seemingly offer one through HackerOne, where you can get $15,000 if you can design a universal jailbreak. Apparently, 183 experts have tried this and have only got through 5 out of the 10 questions that they have over there. The challenge site will be available until February 10th, so give it a go. To wrap this all up though, a great tweet that I saw was about how everyone is dropping models recently, and then Anthropic goes ahead and drops an anti-jailbreak system, to which an employee rightfully responded that Anthropic's purpose was actually to use research to deploy safe and reliable models to the public. If you made it this far, subscribe, and as always, see you in the next one.